Hello there. Without question, in the early post-war years, the greatest hero to don a red Liverpool jersey was Billy Liddell. Liddell of the cannonball shot, with 32 Scottish caps and almost 500 games for Liverpool, he helped the Anfield side to their first Wembley appearance and to a Football League championship. One of the cleanest players the league has ever known, Billy Liddell scored more than 200 goals for his club and, together with Stanley Matthews, was one of only 2 people ever to appear twice for Great Britain. The first occasion was at Hampden Park in 1947.
I can't remember a lot about the actual game itself, apart from the score 6-1. I always remember that Billy Steele, who was making his name in football at that time, I think previous to being transferred to Derby County, he scored a couple of goals. He was inside left to me. I remember the time we spent in training. We had about 4 days up in Aberfoyle in the special training district that the Scottish team used to use, training, getting ready for the match itself. But as to the actual match, I remember it was always a big crowd there, about 120,000 people. And but to the game, I can't remember all the actual things, apart from pulling a muscle in the second half.
Well, that can't have been too good at all. How did that come about?
Well, I was chasing a ball to the byline and running past the fullback, and just managed to catch the ball. And as I caught the ball on the goal line, I felt a little strain. I had attention from the trainer and decided to carry on. But it would have been better if I had gone off. But, you know, playing in a big game like that, you wanted to play on all the time.
Particularly at Hampden
Park. Just after a half-time. And what happened with that, it cost me 2 or 3 games for Liverpool. Because this was towards the end of May that this match was played. And it was the season when the season was extended. And I finished up, I think, 3 weeks out and coming back and playing a game without any training at all when we played at Wolverhampton to win the championship that year.
What about the opposition on that day? Obviously, they were even more out of touch than you were. They went down 6-1, but of course they had the language difficulty.
Well, they always had the language barrier. Johnny Carey, of course, was playing against us. Johnny was one of the greatest players that I played against as a player and as a gentleman, as a sportsman. It was always a pleasure to play against Johnny when he was playing fullback with Manchester United. But on this occasion, he captained the rest of Europe team from the right half position. And the centre half, I saw him 2 or 3 times because I played against him. He played for Austria, that was Ockwork. And Nordahl from Sweden played in that game.
They had a tiny little French goalkeeper, I think, Darrouet, if you remember him.
Yes, France, I remember him. But I think the atmosphere and the fact that the rest of Europe side didn't have much time together, I don't think they met until the Friday before the game, so they had even less chance of welding into a team than we as Great Britain did.
You didn't actually score on this occasion, although you were a prolific scorer over the years. Did you have any near misses?
Well, I can't remember. I know I had 1 or 2 shots at goals, but this was always my trouble in international games, that I don't think I played as well in international games as I did in my club games, because when I was playing for Scotland especially, I tried to play as a team man, more as an ordinary winger than in my usual role at Liverpool, where I was an unorthodox winger. I had the freedom of the park, as the manager in those days, George Kay, used to say, all right, well, Billy just moves around, finds himself in different places, and the rest of the players, they slotted into my position.
I think he was probably a bit ahead of his time in letting you do this.
Well, George Kay was very good on the question of tactics and planning matches. He had been a professional footballer himself, played for West Ham in the cup final, the famous cup final against Bolton Wanderers when the White Horse came on the field.
The first Wembley final.
First Wembley
1923,
final.
wasn't it?
George was the losing captain that day, and he was always a great manager. Looked after the players well.
Certainly paid off dividends because you scored well over 200 goals for Liverpool in nearly 500 matches, including some which got away as well. There was a famous occasion against Manchester City in a cup tie. Could you refresh our memories on that goal which wasn't?
This is one of the most controversial that I was going to say scored, but this one was I didn't score because the referee always has the last word. I can remember it very well indeed. It was a replay of a cup tie at Anfield. There was snow on the ground. It was getting near the end of the game, and I was playing centre forward at this time. The ball was booted up the field to me, and I was just on the halfway line, and I kicked the ball forward and started off running.
Well, before we run any further, I think also it's fair to remind people that at this time Liverpool were a goal down.
That's right, yes. We were 1-0 down. It was nearing the end of the match. And I chased after this ball, and in hot pursuit was Big Dave Ewing, the centre half. And I managed to get to the ball, brought it into the penalty area, and Bert Trotman came diving out at me. I shot and under his body into the net. And I thought, well, I've managed to do it again, equalised in the last minute, and turned round, and there I see some of the players disappearing off the pitch, and I wonder, well, what happened? And the referee had blown his whistle. I certainly didn't hear the whistle. Dave Ewing didn't hear it. Bert Trotman didn't hear it because we played on and the ball went in the net. But of course, the only thing I questioned the referee about was the fact that he said that he blew the whistle, I think 9 seconds before I put the ball in the back of the net. So even with snow on the ground, I think I could cover 50 yards in less than 9 seconds. That was the only quibble I had with the referee.
Must have been a real shaker at this time too, but...
It was, but that's the way football runs. It may seem ironic because the previous match was against Scunthorpe in the Cup, and I'd managed to score in exactly the last seconds of the game because I got the ball in the net to equalise 3-3, and we got back to the centre circle and didn't have time to kick the ball off, so I got a replay in the last round. We won at Scunthorpe, and then we lost by this same trick of fate, I should think.
So you just ran out of luck, just seconds too soon, I'm afraid, on that one. You must have been pretty sick too, just a few years earlier, 46-7 season, when you were going hell foot for the double, and you had this replayed semi-final against Burnley, having been held to a goalless draw. You were way ahead, and you were going on to win the league championship, in fact. And second division Burnley came back late in second in the replay to win 1-0.
To win 1-0, I don't remember much about the replay, apart from the goal going in, and us losing. I remember most the first game at Blackburn Rovers ground, Ewood Park. And we had a very good game. We were well on top, I think. And Albert Stubbins had missed an easy chance. But I always remember that this was one of the things when I was a bit cross with newspapers and suddenly realised that you've got to be careful what you say to the newspapers. Because I was talking to this reporter about the game afterwards and saying that it had been a good game. I thought we were value for our win, and I was just a bit disappointed that in the last couple of minutes I raced through and had a terrific shot from outside the penalty area, and it just veered away at the last minute, missing the post by fractions. And I told the reporter that, and then he came out with his headlines, Billy Liddell blamed himself for losing the cup match by not scoring in the last minute.
Just to add insult to injury, eh?
Yeah.
Well, that must have been disappointing. And, of course, you had another major disappointment in 1950 when you reached Wembley. But, well, due to circumstances beyond your control, namely a couple of goals from Arsenal, you didn't march off with the cup that time.
No, it was a disappointment in a way, not winning the cup. Mainly from the point of view of our supporters, who are the best supporters in the world. We wanted to be the first team to get Liverpool's name on the cup for the first time. Looking back, of course, it's not such a great disappointment because getting to Wembley is a great achievement for any professional footballers. There are only a few elite who managed to, in fact, get to the final, and the fact that you're playing on Wembley in the cup final is, I think, in the minds of most professional footballers, is the supreme task or the supreme achievement for them. The fact that we've been to Wembley and played in the cup final is always a great thrill.
Did it give you the greatest personal pleasure of all your achievements? Was getting to Wembley perhaps the greatest, or would it be playing for Scotland, or even playing in the first team first of all?
No, football is such a game that you can't say definitely which particular incident throughout your years has given you the greatest pleasure. I can still remember the great pleasure I had when I was 8 years old, being chosen for the school team and running home all the way to my mother to show her the jersey and pants that I was going to play in. The joy of getting chosen for Scotland as a schoolboy international. Your first appearance playing for a professional side, your first league game, your first cup tie, first time you're playing for your country. There's so many, you can't actually tie them down.
What about your first goal for Liverpool then?
The first goal for Liverpool is one that I always remember. I could hardly forget it because it happened on New Year's Day in 1940. And as a Scotsman, that would be very hard to forget New Year's Day.
And you must have been one of the few Scotsmen not to have had a drop that day too.
Well, I've always been teetotal all the way through. The only time I've imbibed is when the doctor has said that I drink that after I'd had about 3 or 4 stitches put in my head after a collision, one thing or another. But I remember this particular stage, I think, when I just started my career. It was my first game in football, as it was then, which was wartime football, regional football, and we played against Crewe Alexandra at Anfield. And I was fortunate enough to meet a centre from Barry Newnhayes, the old outside right. I was only put in the team as an outside left, you see, that because they were short of an outside left. Outside right was my natural position, and it was just necessity that pushed me onto the left wing, and I found out that I preferred playing left wing to right wing. Anyhow, Barry crossed this ball and I banged it into the net. That was the first time. But it set off a sequence because the following week, after playing against Crewe, we played against Manchester City at Main Road. And in that team there was Frank Swift, Sproulson, Alec Herd, Tilson, all the well-known names of the Manchester City teams in 1938 and just before. And we managed to wallop them 7-3. And I got 3 goals against Frank Swift, one of the greatest goalkeepers. Then the third match of the series was at New Brighton, of all places across the water, when we beat the old New Brighton town 4-1, and I managed to score again, so that I got 5 goals in the first 3 games from the wing at that. I played for Scotland and Liverpool in practically every country in Europe, apart from Russia, We were behind the Iron Curtain in Yugoslavia, Hungary, Austria, and also went to America and Canada with Liverpool twice on tour, so that it was a wonderful experience. It's the greatest profession in the world. As I always used to say, there are many disappointments in football. There are many advantages, many disadvantages, but when you come to the final summing up, you can always say, well, that you get paid for doing something that you really enjoy doing, something you would do even if you weren't paid for it. And that's a wonderful thing for any profession.
Well, I wonder if we can refresh your memory at all, going back again to that Great Britain match. Some of the people you played alongside, you've already mentioned Billy Steele, but there were great players, really great players by all standards, like Stanley Matthews, Rach Carter, Tommy Lawton. What was it like playing in this sort of forward line?
It was a bit difficult again, because we were all playing for Great Britain, but the time that we had at our disposal, you couldn't formulate plans, and it's very difficult to pick up with other players and be unselfish about playing for the team and one thing or another. I mean, with Stanley Matthews, he has only one way of playing. I mean, he can win a match on his own at different times, but it's very difficult to plan how you're going to play in a team like this. And this is one of the reasons why I believe that we'll never have a Great Britain side in this country, that it is hard enough trying to pick national sides like the English, Scots, Irish and Welsh, and it's even more difficult playing in a Great Britain side.
You don't think it's a good idea then?
I don't think so, because generally before they pick the teams, they say, well, we must have 3 from Scotland, 3 from England, 3 from Wales, and 2 from Ireland, something like this. There's always got to be certain teams.
Political bias in it, perhaps. Yeah.